In this video, I'm going to share with you how to check your application status after you file your application for Social Security Disability Insurance without needing to get an attorney involved. There are two options that you have. The first one is your newly created My SSA account. The other way is basically the old-fashioned way. Don't worry, either way, you'll be fine. If you're ready for this, let's get it started. So you have filed your application for SSDI and things are rolling now. Now you have to play the waiting game. And when you're playing the waiting game with Social Security, sometimes you're going to have to wait a long time. In this waiting game, I want to make sure that you play things smart and not make things harder for yourself. That's why I'm suggesting two options that I recommend. And a Disability Yoda is going to give you something that's going to work. So make sure that you pay close attention to the two options that I present to you in this video. While you're playing the waiting game, Social Security may send you some forms just to confirm your eligibility. One of those forms is called the Work Activity Form. There are two versions of this form. There is one if you're self-employed, and then there's another one if you are employed by an employer. So the point is to make sure that these forms are filled out in a timely fashion so you don't hold up your claim. Now, here are the two options that you have to check your application status. The first option is your My SSA account. You've got a new one now, and now this is going to work in your favor. See, the My SSA account is very handy in terms of checking your application status. You can set up notifications to come to you either by email or by text, and they will keep you up to date on where the application is. As a matter of fact, they will tell you when the case actually gets to the DDS, where they start working on your application. At that point, it's actually called a claim. Checking your application status using your My SSA account will keep you from having to call the National 800 number and waiting for a half hour, 45 minutes, or even an hour for someone to even pick up. And I'm trying to tell you, that wait music is pretty loud. Also, it keeps you from having to make a visit to your local office. Wait in line, take a number, and sometimes the wait times can be pretty long. So your My SSA account is going to go a long way in you being able to know what your application status is. The second option that you have is to call your local Social Security office. The local field office, and by now you should know which one that is a very workable way to do it. It is the old-fashioned way, but it is still effective. Now, if you're not sure of what office is your local office, go back to part 1 of this series on how to file your application without an attorney. I've provided a link in the description so you can be able to go there right now. When you call Social Security at any time, whether it's the National 800 number or your local office, you're going to first need to verify your identity. They're going to ask you questions that only you would know about. So just be prepared to answer those questions just so they can make sure they're dealing with the right person and not a fraud. Once you verify your identity, the next step is just to simply ask them the status of your SSDI application. And then let them work their magic. But I also want to remind you, be kind, be courteous, be pleasant, be cooperative. Just be direct with respect. Say, hey, I like to get the status of my application, and do it in a pleasant, cooperative manner. And keep in mind, I understand that it's going to take a lot of strength if you've been waiting for a while for an answer, but it always pays off to get on the good side of the person who is on the other end of the call. If the claims representative doesn't have any status to give you, I recommend calling back in about a couple of weeks. Give it a couple of weeks before you call back. You don't want to keep calling them because that just becomes irritating to the office. Give them some time to work. Give them some time to get things moving, and then check back in a couple of weeks and see where your application is at that point. Now, let's say that you have been sent some forms by the local field office to complete, like the work activity report. When you complete the forms and send them in or mail them in, give them a call in about a couple of weeks just to make sure that they have received the forms. If they have received the forms, then you can check the status. Ask them, do you know what the status is on my application? If they don't have a status for you, wait another couple of weeks and give them a call back. And I would suggest calling every 2 weeks after that. So you're giving some space for them to work. You're not letting things continue on for months and months and not really knowing where your application is. And you're also not calling every single day and pestering the local office. Give it 2 weeks. 2 week blocks is all you need to keep tabs on your application. And we're at the end of step 4 on how to apply for Social Security disability without an attorney. This is a quick one, but it's a lot of great information. So I'm hoping that you got value. And if you did get value, hit that thumbs up button. Hey, let me know how I'm doing. I want to make sure that I'm giving value with these videos. And when you hit the thumbs up button, you really show YouTube that, hey, the Disability Yoda is giving information that I need. So I appreciate the support. Now, if you're here for the first time on this channel, what I do is to break down the Social Security disability insurance process for people like you applying for the first time or for the first time in a long time. I keep things simple so you can understand the process, navigate it easier, and make fewer mistakes with less fear and less stress. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can catch all my latest videos. Also, check out the other resources I have in the description below on how you can have me work with you in your SSDI application. I'm Greg Brinkley, the Disability Yoda. Stay blessed.